Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is gonna be a tough one. It's a real tough one for me because in this video I'm going to share with you total 10 mistakes I have done in my first year of entrepreneurship. So in my career, I started my life in a completely different way. I was doing small businesses when I was in high school and when I was in universities too. And then I gave it away and then I completely started on to build a career because my goal was I wanted to work for $1 billion businesses. I want to learn how the big $1 billion businesses work. And then I will do it if something I want to build in my career I can do. And then accidentally I start my entrepreneurships. And my very first year, even I had so much experience as C-suite executives and I have a small business experience when I was in a very early part of my life. But I made these 10 mistakes, which is bad. If I did not make those 10 mistakes in my first year, I would be a lot more better progress I could make, which I had to compensate later too, which took me a lot of energy. So if you are planning to be an entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, or even want to start your side hustle or a consulting business too, these are the 10 mistakes. Don't do it. And what are those 10 mistakes? Let's get started right now. Sure. Did not focus on business development. I didn't want to learn about business development too. Very bad thing, which is like a stupid thing, right? I was thinking about, because what is I've done before, it should be the done way too. So like all the way I've done in my small businesses, when I was doing all the way back before I get into my career as well too. So that time, it was really small and I was doing so niches and I had all the people around me. So they just knew me and they just took the things I wanted to sell that time. But now, when I am in doing a different kind of entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurships, and then turn it to an entrepreneurship to solving a company B2B business problems, it's a completely different environment. So to do this one, I have to build a completely different way to provide sales as a service for them to solve their problem as well too. But now, I did some funny mistake. Like that time I had a director, I was really expecting her, she would lead everything like that, all the sales business development activity. I was thinking that I should be focusing more on the products and solutions and think about it. And even I was sometimes getting mad at, why are you inviting me to come to all these meetings with different people? So go ahead and do all those things for yourself. Really stupid. And another thing was about my identity crisis probably, as I was a CIO at that time. So I was being too much biased about, I'm a CIO and I should be focusing about all these things. I should be building on the products. And I was obsessed about the product. That's one of the factors. It's a good thing, but I still should be changing my hats when I was thinking about growing the business. Because end of the day, when I was being an entrepreneur, end of the day, I need to do business development too. And as an entrepreneur, it's the first job is about doing a great business development. I need to learn that skill too. So then I had to fix that one in the second part, how to learn about business development. And actually it was so much load with the director, she actually resigned after a few months later, which is a bad message. But that is what was my wake-up call. That's the time I learned the lesson that, actually, I had to learn how to do this one and I have to do this business development myself. And one of the core things I really liked about business development is all about serving, listening and summarizing and helping them to solve their problem too. So that's what is actually the work of an expert. So why not I'm doing it? That's the trigger moment. I changed myself and I started learning on that thing. How do I sell? How do we provide solutions, solve other people's problem? And that's called business development. Number 2, I was so much focused about product. Like I said this one, I was so obsessed about building solutions. But it's not about only about what we really solve through our product. It's a very important thing. We also need to think about what's the value do we create. There is a better combination too as well. There's a lot of problems need to be solved, but it's not valuable to solve them. So if we try to solve this problem, does not actually can become a viable product or services or people in demand as well too. But if we have some product and services which can create a significantly big values for the companies, those are the products and services company would like to do. So that is the thing I have to do. I'm really focusing about, just get problem and solve them. And that's the problem, solve them. And that's the way I built a big stack of solutions, which is really solving their problem at that time. And I didn't really do a pathless way of doing that one too. So that means I didn't really prioritize the solutions should be placed which create a high value problem and I really focus on that one too. So that was my mistake, and I have learned, and then I pivoted in the next year that, okay, let's focus on the solution and product which can create a big values for the customer, not just bring up any problem and try to solve them immediately with the product. Number 3, one of the things was about ego. Managing ego was one of the hardest things for an entrepreneur. As like somebody who was getting out of the dropout of the high school, they have zero ego because they have zero level of self-esteem, so they don't have the problem. But for someone like me who are getting out of manager job or CIO or already CEO of other companies, starting up their own initiative, side hustle, entrepreneurship, or social entrepreneurship, ego is a big part because all those companies, we have all those resources we have, and one of the biggest things we do, we are never as good as what we think we are. This is really a matter too. And we're often good what we do every day, but we're often very suck what we don't do at all. So that's the thing. I was not doing for entrepreneurship for many years because I was building a career to be a CIO. And now when I started my entrepreneurship life on this one too, so I was not good at many things, and I have to get better on that one too. And I was really paying a lot of attention to get better all this thing because I think that I'm good already. I'm a CIO, I know a lot of stuff, but actually I'm not. When I get into this thing, when I roll my sleeves and I start to put into the hand in the mud, and then I realize this one, oh my God, this is a really big mess. Solve this one. And to solve this problem, the only one way I can do, get better about doing all these things. So personal development, professional development becomes one of the fundamental factors from that moment in my life. Number 4, passion is trash. It can get things started. Like an example, Nike keeps saying this one, just do it, right? Just do it, which is a good thing to get started. The people who cannot get started, it's a big problem. For me, I can get started very well. So that is not my problem. My problem is that I'm so much passion driven, and this passion is often what's become a big blindfold in my eye, and I was not really seeing all the things. I will tell you a funny lunch. So one of the investors back the time, he invited me, he took me a lunch, and he was talking about all the things, and he wanted to know what problem am I solving. Rather than I was focusing about all the problem I'm solving, I was so much pitching about and sharing about all the amazing passion I have, which is stupid, right? It doesn't make any sense. I should be telling a lot more things how I'm solving a problem. What's the next thing I want to do? What's the 5-year, 10-year down the route I'm working on, and what will impact the community? What will impact the business? What will impact the industry? That will get him interested, right? So that's a big lesson learned, right? So passion is a great place, but we should not be becoming a slave inside the passion jail, but we should be using as one of the fuel box, not normally one fuel box, so one of the fuel box to drive us forward. That's a big lesson learned. Number 5, learn to take advice. I was so busy sharing about all the amazing thing I'm doing and all this passionate about things, and I was really forgetting in the conversation to ask them and listen to them what really they're doing actually. And more importantly, the things they have already done, which I am going to do, I could get simply ask them, how do you do it? What the thing did you learn? And I was not asking enough questions. I was not getting enough advice. I was trying to every possible wheel I was trying to build myself. When there was a wheel was for the same thing was being built and was already laid down in the next door, and I was not even looking. Really stupid, right? And that's the mistake we do often when we start an entrepreneurship. We think that, oh, we are good at it, we're going to build every possible wheel. No, the goal is about every possible wheel we can use this one what we already have, put it on, and sometimes it's not the best wheel, sometimes maybe a little bit smaller, sometimes maybe bigger, but just adopt, and then over time adjust and drive it forward. And more importantly, every wheels we have, if it's a team, different team members have different wheels, but making sure that we document all the different wheels they have and then put it all together and just drive things forward as fast as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's very much important. Time is a very important factor, because every time we are trying to build a different wheel, it costs time. It costs time means we're falling behind. So that's the factor. Taking advice, using the wheel, drive faster, move toward to the next milestone. Number 6, listening to many people. Yes, this often it happens with the entrepreneurs who forgot about what they're doing is about. I was listening so many people, I was listening so many successful people, and that was making a big issues on my mind, because it would create a lot of confusion, because some people said this way, some people said that way too, and I was like, boom, where do I really go? But then I realized this one, what is a mistake? I need to know, don't need to listen to a lot of people, I just need to know the people who are ahead of me, and not just like thousands kilometers ahead of me, but the people who are like 10, 20, 30 kilometers ahead of me, who have already done this similar kind of thing with me. I gotta just only listen to them, and I need to know that how good they are. Are they really sharing with me their advices, their journey in a really authentic manner, or otherwise they're a huckster, right? So the goal is about listening to those people. For me, is about who are ahead of me and what exactly they're doing, and they see what they have listened, learned, and find those people who are really willing to share and get them advice and listen to the advice too, and implement and test and improvise. Number 7, this is a really surprise you. I was almost quit. So when I started our social entrepreneurship in back in 2017, 2018, 3 of my core team members quit at the same time. So that means I was like amazing, crazy amount of workload was right on my head, and I was like sinking in the sand that time. So I wasn't thinking probably this is the time for me to get out. This is the time for me to stop these things. But I did not. This is one of the things I have learned. This one, everything gonna be harder. Everything in our life we want to do in a greater way too is gonna be harder. The things are really easier to do. That is not something gonna be rewarding too. Everything which is hard and challenging, that's something if you could do it, if you could challenge it. One of the biggest thing we learned from this one is about a skill we get. We know similar kind of situation, what exactly we need to do. So if I could quit, I would throw away all this opportunity to learn all the skills, how to handle those difficult moments. So I handle this one in the future. If I have the similar kind of situations, I know already how to do it. So that's the biggest leverage. So it's called knowledge advantage. So this is something I got. So I did not quit. So if you are thinking about starting on entrepreneurship, don't quit. If you quit, you are missing a big chunk of the golden nuggets, the skill. Because if you don't quit, you're gonna get it. Number 8, I was really focusing about products, a product, and obsessed about a product. So I was really focusing about Steve Jobs. He was like one of the person I used to listen a lot. I've shared about it back then as well too. He's a lot of stories really. So he was always talking about be obsessed about the product, which is good, right? But end of the day, I should not be, as I'm starting right now in my present generation, my goal shouldn't be just obsessed about the product. I should be obsessed about my customers, my users, so I can really know what's the problem and pain point into it, and then just put the product accordingly. So that's the big mistake. I was obsessed about the product rather than obsessed about our users, so then our customers. So now I had to shift the thing mine as well too. Another thing I was also took in from Steve Jobs, and it was a big mistake as well too. He said this one: when you're doing something, focus doing it, don't talk about it. Just do it. And that was not a great advice all the time, because there's a lot of advice after all coming on from other people too. I realized this one, that in this present situation, when you're doing something, we gotta do it, and then we gotta share it. We gotta get feedback about it and continuously improve it, because there's no final product. It's everything product under development. It's called restless innovation. So when we build something, let it people use, get feedback, improve, continuously improve. It should be continuous. It's not like example, look at the iPhone. How many versions the Apple have already created? So I get the message wrong from Steve Jobs. So that's why sharing those quotes from different people, which I used to spend a lot of time reading a lot of quotes, finding the right meaning of that one, and when what exact situation those quotes were being spoken out was very important. But most of the time we just read the quote, we don't see the story behind of it, we don't know the context and what situation we're doing. So that's why I've learned the lesson. Now I hardly read the quotes, because often those quotes confused me and often can drive me in the wrong direction as well too. Number 9, I was just effort guy that time. I was really thinking about that everything I could just do with 10x effort. I could put just 10x. If 1 doesn't work, I'm gonna make 10 effort. That if 10 doesn't work, I'm gonna put 100 effort. So what does happen finally? Finally I burn out. I'm completely exhausted, and I'm not seeing the result because I'm putting so much heavy effort on that one too. So my expectation is going over the roof, and now finally I'm not getting the result. So it's making me really angry and disappointed as well too. So what's the missing point? The thing I learned this one is about, it's not about only effort. I need to find the right lever as well too. So I can put 10 effort. So if there is a 10 output, means there is no lever. It's just basically equalizer or equalizer. Because if I put 10 and if I get 15, bingo, so I get 50% more output because of the lever. Like an example, if I put 10, if I get an output of 5, so that means I have minus 50% effort. So I need to find out what lever do I have. I need to identify them in a proper way. I have to learn how to use this one, and then I have to learn how to improve it, and then continuously improve that one too. Number 10, every day I was just thinking about everybody will be very proactive in the team. They were passionate. Yes, everybody's super passionate. They will just do everything possible the right way. That was a disaster idea. They just cannot just do the way they need to do. And they just can't, I cannot just allow them the way the passionate, the flowing on, and they just go with the flow of the passion. No, I need to manage the right schedule of myself so I can focus on the right thing. I need to manage the schedule of all the direct report as well too, so they can focus on the right thing too. And I also coach them too as well, so they can focus on their direct report and right as well too. So that's the big lesson learned. So I have learned that from the mistake that I gotta have a really solid schedule for myself. I need to have the solid schedule management for my direct reports and also help them and coach them so they can do the right delegation and schedule management for the direct report as well too. So those are the 10 lessons learned I have learned in my first year of entrepreneurship. Are you thinking about starting up your own startup or social entrepreneurship or side hustle? Go check this video over there. I shared this one. What exactly you need to achieve as a manager or a C-suite executive to start your own entrepreneurship journey. Click the video right now. I'll see you there. All the best. We have some exciting plans for the next week. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that out.